Okay, it's funny that this was at the Commons. I was reading the invitation on the way over here, and I was thinking, oh no, the Commons. Because the last time I was in the Commons, there was this program that we had back in early 90s. It was called the Simple Meal. And it was this wonderful program where you paid $1 and you got soup and salad, and you paid $1 and that $1 would go towards the missions downtown. Well, that was a great idea, and I was living off campus at the time, and I was thinking, well, hey, for $1 I can get a pretty good meal. I was running 60, 70 miles a week, so that's pretty good. Well, I started coming in here, and I noticed after a couple times of doing the Simple Meal that once you were in the Commons, there was nobody really checking to see if you were getting soup or salad. So, Padres that are here, you're gonna have to forgive me. The temptations were too great. I started going to the turkey and mashed potatoes line and helping myself to the desserts and the cereals and everything else, and that ended when there was a school newspaper article and there was a picture of Julian enjoying a not so simple meal of turkey and mashed potatoes. So I haven't been back to the Commons since, but. First, I got a couple notes here, and I'd first want to thank the kind folks that elected me into the Hall of Fame. It's a wonderful honor for me, and it's humbling to be inducted along with Coach Pollreisz and Tiffeny, of course, who was a classmate of mine. I don't know where Tiffeny is. There she is. And Miss Gayle Poff Ventura, and so it's thank you, and also the inductees that are here tonight from past ceremonies. Also importantly, I want to say thanks to my family and my friends, and that's my wife Colleen and our son little Wade there with the camera filming this. I think over 20 years ago, my dad was saying the last time they were here was their graduation back in '94, but my dad and my grandmother actually dropped me off here back in 1989, and I was 98 pounds. I hadn't reached 100 pounds yet, and I don't think that, I cannot believe that I'm here, but because of them, I am. They always believed it. If you would have told my mom and dad that in 20 years I would be getting inducted to the Hall of Fame after they dropped me off, they would have said, oh, absolutely. That's how much they've always believed in me and supported me, and so I wanted to say thank you to them. When I started running, all I wanted to do was beat my dad. That was it, okay? My dad, when we were kids, there was 4 kids in the family. He'd always make this big announcement, I'm going for a run. Anybody gonna join me? And of course, nobody did, and we're like, ugh, And he'd usually be back before we'd ever even notice he was gone. Well, one day I was just downstairs watching cartoons or something. He's like, I'm going for a run. So I'm like, okay, I can take this old guy on. I'm gonna go. And we went around this hospital, and it's like this little, maybe it's a half-mile loop or so. And we were coming back up to the house, and I started kind of kicking in and try to beat him in the house, and my dad took off and he beat me to the top of the house, and he says, you got to have a better kick than that if you're going to beat me, But I was hooked at that point, I'm like, oh, I hate losing more than I love winning, And so I started running with him more and more, often and often, and then at some point I was able to start beating my dad, and that was pretty great, and he was really happy for me and supportive. And then I set my sights on my brothers, my 2 older brothers, and one of my brothers are here, Tim, tonight, and they put up a pretty good fight, and there was quite a challenge there. We ran through high school, and it wasn't until I was able to beat my brother Tim until college, and that was awesome. I loved it. That was my motivation, Tim wasn't so happy about that, I don't think, as much as my dad was. But then I set my sights on the Oregon Ducks. We wanted to beat Oregon. And I think probably one of the best college experiences I have is when we went down to University of Oregon, and we went 1 through 5 on them. And that was awesome. And then I set my sights on, okay, this is great. I want to try to make this outside of running, or outside of college. And for a small part of time, I was one of the better guys in Oregon, and then I was one of the better guys in the country, and then maybe for 30 minutes on one day of one year, I was maybe one of the better runners in the world. And that was so much farther than I ever thought I would go with this. And it's only because of the people here that believed in me and the University of Portland that believed in me when I was running as a 98-pound high school kid, when Coach Bud Calvert saw me running in the state meet and said, that kid's got talent. How do you look at a 98-pound kid and say that kid's got talent? But he did, and he gave me a chance, and I really wanted to thank those folks that did that for me. It's not quite what I want to talk about tonight. You know, I really want to say how wonderfully blessed I am for UP to seek me out and for me to come here. You know, when Bud Calberth recruited me, I so badly wanted to run Division I, and a lot of programs, every program I talked to, everybody turned me down. Everybody did. I wasn't, you know, I was too small. I wasn't showing anything, but University of Portland took a chance on me. And I was so excited to be able to have an opportunity to run D1. In high school, that's what I really wanted to do. You guys believed in me, and I hope that while I was here and then beyond, that I was able to pay that back to the University of Portland. You know, when I got here, we didn't have full scholarships at the time, track and cross country, and they were just partial. And I came in here on a pretty small scholarship, and I worked in the laundry room down in the dome down there. And that's probably not the best job to have if you're, you know. So I worked 20 hours a week down there, and I'd go after dinner. I lived in Kennett Hall, and then I'd go down and work about 4 hours a night down in the laundry room. So it's a far cry from what, you know, I'm a coach at a Pac-12 university now at Washington State, and those guys just shake their head when I tell them that's how I made ends meet, you know, running a ton and working in the laundry room. But life was so good. The guys on my team, my coaches, the competitions, the university, this campus is amazingly beautiful. I was walking through here, I haven't been back in 15, 20 years, and I'm walking through campus with my wife, and I'm like, this is, why wasn't I paying attention to this, you know, 20 years ago? It's a stunningly beautiful campus, and I would hope that you are all as proud of it as I am. Over time, I did earn a bigger scholarship. I got faster, as you saw, and the university rewarded me, and I was able to work my way out of the laundry room, and I was able to have a good, solid scholarship, so that I was able to just focus on my studies, and I did get a degree in communications, and I did a year of graduate school, but I'm still 9 credits short, so maybe we can work something out here later. But you know, we had guys on our team. College athletics is awesome. You know, the guys on our team, you know, their names, you know, we had Doc, we had Pockets, we had Pearl, we had Elvis, we had Hank, we had Fish. All these guys were great guys. We had Uli, but that's not his nickname, that's his name, that's Uli. He's over there. And my nickname was Pookie. And so when I was really small. I was 98 pounds again. And every time it rained, and it rains a lot here, there was these puddles, and every run they'd pile on top of me in this puddle, and they'd call it a Pookie pile. I don't know why, but it was, the rest of the guys had it was a lot of fun. The next year when I was here after Calberth, we got this new coach, and there was some young hotshot named Rob Connor, and pretty much things on the Bluff have been completely upside down since. But he wasn't the vegan Portlandia hipster that he is now. He was probably as unsure and sort of unconfident as we were, but one thing that Rob had, and it's something that I've taken as a coach, is Rob had a tremendous vision, a goal for the program. And it was just in a matter of months that we became one of the most dominant teams in the country. And it was really the same talented guys, but he came in with a vision. And he just automatically said, no, this is the way we're going to do things, this is the way we're going to compete, and we can beat Oregon. We can beat Arkansas. We can beat Wisconsin. We're going to beat these teams. And you know what? We went out and did it. And I learned the same things with my WSU team. Last 2 years ago, we finished 14th at the NCAA regionals. Oregon killed us. Of course, Portland killed us. And I said, this reminds me of a team I used to be on. Well, this year, there was a couple of teams that went to the NCAAs and beat Oregon to get there, and that was WSU and the University of Portland. And it was really from what I learned from Rob, is that vision is everything. When you take 18-year-old men, 19-year-old men, and you tell them they can do something and you believe in them, that's all you need. That's all you need. So thank you, Rob. Probably of many of the accomplishments that I've had, Rob, I know you've had numerous All-Americans, but I'm pleased to be your first. My years on the Bluff couldn't have been any better. My friends, the experiences, so much you had to be there. I can't tell you why I was on top of the Child Center. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you why our Friday nights the game was we'd take one of the, is the El Burrito Loco still in Portland? Do they still have that? El Burrito Loco? We used to go down and buy these bean and cheese burritos. We'd put it in the living room floor, and we'd have wrestling matches, and we'd try to stick the other person's face in the El Burrito Loco. That's what you do in college. It's great. It's just awesome. Well, but another main reasons for my success, I think here, is that I've always been at the right place at the right time. I've been lucky. I really have been. In my races, the people that I've met along the way, I've always been blessed, and I truly have been blessed by God to be in the right place at the right time. And when Bud Calverth was at the Oregon State High School meet and he saw me run and gave me a chance, I was at the right place at the right time. Coming to University of Portland was the right place at the right time for me. It's what I needed during those 4 years. But the greatest example of me being at the right place at the right time was 10, 12 years later. I'm walking in Boulder, Colorado, and I take this right-hand turn into this record store called Bart CD, and I saw this beautiful girl, my wife Colleen, and she had a Miles Davis CD and a Morrissey CD in her hand, and I fell in love. And she has been an angel to me and to our son Wade, and she has been through a journey that is almost unbelievable over the last 15 years. Once that first run I did with my father, I was calculating up how much I've run since then, and I've run over 80,000 miles. 80,000 miles. That's over 3 times around planet Earth. If I would run 80,000 miles all over again to meet you. So, thank you. Thanks to the University of Portland. Hey, I'm blessed. I can't wait to see this. Yeah. All right. Thanks.